This is why most spray foam contractors get stuck generating less than $1 million of revenue a year. So I've spoken to a lot of different contractors across the country, some in Florida, some in Georgia, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nevada, California, and I've noticed a few different trends. Trend one is most people that start a spray foam business typically start off as a spray foam installer, a bat installer. They save some money, they buy a spray foam rig, they register the business. Now they're a business owner, right? These people, they know how to install the foam, they know how to install the fiberglass. One thing that they didn't get the opportunity to learn was how to go out and obtain contracts that generate revenue and projects for the business. So, most spray foam contractors, what they do is they'll go out and try the generic tactics. For example, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, and they'll just start posting more. And a trend that I've seen with Facebook Marketplace leads is that these leads are typically less qualified, typically smaller projects, and typically more homeowners. So you're talking about projects that are usually between $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Sometimes you'll be able to land a big project from it, but most of the time it'll lead to generating smaller amounts of revenue. And there's two different ways that you can go about generating more revenue for your spray foam business. Option one is you fix your online brand, you run some ads, you run some SEO, you buy some leads, and you just wait on your phone to call, right? Option two, this is where we implement business to business sales activities. So, business to business sales activities, what are these? All right, so who buys the most amount of spray foam from what we've seen, right? And a trend that we've seen within the spray foam industry is custom home builders, projects that are typically $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million plus. All right, so now we know that one business to business sector is the custom home market, right? We already kind of know this, right? Working with business to business, of course, some of these are very price oriented, but not everybody is price oriented, right? So, how do you implement a business to business sales cycle within your organization? Step one, you first have to build out a list of people that buy your services within your area. So, first, we need to find out, okay, custom home builders. There's two ways you traditionally do this. One way is you're driving around looking for construction sites. You find the construction site, you find out who the builder is. One way to generate leads. Option two is you do some Google search. You look for custom home builders on Instagram, on Yelp, on the Better Business Bureau, on Build Zoom. And then, of course, you can build a list based off what you Google search online, right? Step one, generating the leads. You already have the leads that you've driven around, and you already made a list of builders within your area based off of online searches, right? Now we go to step number two. Step number two is where you investigate the leads, because most people don't know this, but when you're doing a transaction, when you're building a relationship, you're not doing it with the company. You're not building a relationship with the building company. You're building a relationship with the person within the building company. So now your goal is to find out who the decision makers are, project managers, builders, estimating managers. Who are these people within every single organization? Because these are the people that decide what subs and who are the subs that they use. And now that we have the list of leads, now that we know who to target within those leads, we also use reverse search websites that give us these people's phone numbers, right? So, for example, if there's this, let's say, Lenovo Building Group, just to give a random name, Lenovo Building Group, right? Brand of my laptop, right? So, step one is who's the owner, who's the project manager, who's the estimating manager. Okay, well, let's say Leo, for example. Okay, Leo is the guy that we need to interact with. Cool. His first name is Lionel, his last name is Sanchez, and he lives in Nashville. Okay, cool. Now what we do with this information, once we have the first and last name in the city that they live in, we can find websites that will give us the person's personal cell phone number, right? So now we're at step three, which is contact info. You have the contact info for the people you investigated based on the leads that you generated, right? So now we're at step 4, where it is now it's your time to interact. Now it's your time to start the interaction with the company you want to work with, right? So what do? We cold call. 80% of my business and about 90% of everything I've done within sales has been thanks to cold call. And cold calling, step number 1 with the cold call is the last thing you want to do is identify as a salesperson. Because tell me this, how do you react when Angie's Leads is calling you? You know, we get these calls all the time from Angie's Leads trying to grow our business, trying to offer us SEO. How do you react to those calls the moment that you find out they're just trying to sell you marketing? You immediately shut them off, right? Same thing with builders to you. The moment you come off as a salesperson, they want to shut you off because why? Because they get these calls all the time. It's not that you did a bad call. Sometimes your call might be bad, but usually these builders get a lot of these type of calls. So your goal is to come in from a personable approach. Like, hey, Michael, how you been, man? I've been good. How are you? Good. Man, I've been following your guys' Instagram for a while. I see you guys built some nice homes, some really nice custom homes here in Nashville. Yes, we do. Man, look, I was checking out your guys' story. I saw that you guys had something framed up. Pretty sure you already have an installation guy, right? We do. Cool, man. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this, but I'd love to get you a bid. Would you be against me just measuring up the house and getting you a number on it? 90 to 95% of the time, if you followed the script, if you had on-point tonality, and if you came in from a personable standpoint, bro, there's a 90-95% chance that he's going to let you bid on the house, right? That's step number 1. Get on as many people's bid lists, send out as many estimates as you can, right? Because what is the definition of marketing? The definition of marketing is to put your brand in front of people that want to buy, right? You putting an estimate in front of people that buy your product is exactly how we do it. We literally put it in their face. We send it to them and put our logo, our brand, our pricing in front of them. And we do this at scale. Because why? Because of course, the traditional route is to do this all online. You know, you go out, you send out 1 to 2 estimates a day. Now, with the power and implementation of AI, you can generate thousands of leads on tap. You can investigate 1,000 leads on tap. So when it comes to doing the outreach, all you're really doing is just going down the list and cold call. And when you can start doing this at a rate where you're making 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 dials a day, you're talking about setting yourself up with 3 to 4 to 5 estimates to go send out daily. You putting your brand in front of other people's, in front of buyers' face 5 times a day, 3 times a day. You do this for 3 months consecutively, you're talking about sending out 20 estimates, 20 to 25 estimates every single week. 20 to 20, let's say 20 estimates a week. 20 different new custom home builders every single week get to see your logo, get to see your brand. You do this for 3 months straight, you're talking about 20, 40, 60, 80 times 3. That's 240 people 3 months later that got to see your logo, they got to see your pricing, they got to see your estimate. And if you knocked it, and if you did it, if you pulled up to the site, you ran to the builder on site, you did your homework based on them, you investigated them, you saw what they like, you could talk about, you pull up, you know that the guy's into golf, you start talking about golf, you know that the guy's into soccer, you start talking about soccer, you know the guy's into this, you start talking about that. Because we know people work with people they like, and that's how it's always going to be forever and ever and ever, because that's something that will never be replaced. People work with people that they enjoy working with. And if you can be that guy that they can trust, that shows up, that has meaningful conversations with them, and is not just there to sell a job, that's where you're going to be able to 3x, 4x, 5x your revenue, especially when you can automate your entire process, and especially when you can replicate it into more salespeople. So we've learned that there's 2 different ways to scale your business. The inbound way, which is you fix your online presence and you get people to call you, marketplace posts. Option 2 is you doing the outreach, you doing the cold calling, you going out and building the relationships. And I tell you what, the business to business will far exceed the Facebook marketplace. I've done in the last 6 months, we've done probably between 200 and 300, around 200 to 300 projects in the last 6 months. And 90% of these clients are custom home builders. I've probably worked with like 2 homeowners in the last 6 months. Everybody else was a custom home builder. And we're able to generate hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month because we don't target projects that generate $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. We target projects that generate $20,000, $30,000, $15,000, and that's who we target.